The Golden Belt Series. Chris, why don't you give the people a quick explanation of what the Golden Belt Series is?
Well, it's only the most intense internet marketing showdown of all time, and it's taking place yet again tonight with the infamous Will and Paige, Sean Malone, the host of the Trainer Dash, and also the nonstop traveler Ashley Crooks, and they're going to be talking about all kinds of like everything internet marketing. This is a place to be. There, you guys like. I know I'm using big statement words, but I mean it because the content that we share in here and that we're living it, we're doing it. It's not common knowledge to other people. So this is actually really, really good stuff. So I'm glad that you guys are watching. You guys are tuning in, and thank you as always, panelists, for giving up your week and like time to be here tonight, and the research that you've done and put together like the presentation tonight and sharing with everyone. So a huge thank you. Back over to you, Sean. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, fire up that engine. Boom, that's what I'm saying. All right, tonight we're starting off the Golden Belt Series with two of some of my favorite Canadians from Canada. They live in the cold and then sometimes in the warm when it's warm for like a month there. But they've been with us for a long time, and I'm super grateful because their growth curve has outpaced just about everybody I've ever seen. They have transformed. I've watched them grow from 0 babies to 3 under 3, I think, which is crazy to me. But the cool part is they've continued to find a way to build their business. They don't have excuses. They don't make excuses. They plug in. They do everything that they need to do. So are you guys ready to learn the secrets to ManyChat, some tactical and practical? Well, tonight, Paige and Will are going to kill the game for you. Take it away, guys!
Awesome. Thanks for the introduction, Sean. So tonight, you guys, I'm going to go over how to build a growth tool. I know that they're in ManyChat, and I'm going to show you how ManyChat with a growth tool. This is a great way to automate your business. I know that there's some training in the back office, but on a weekly basis, I probably get like around 5 messages from people asking for help on how to build a growth tool. So this is going to be a refresher for some of you people that have done it in the past, and then for the newest person walking in the door, hopefully I can share a little bit of value with you guys. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and we'll get on it. All right, can everybody see my screen?
That's a big 10-4.
Okay, awesome. All right, so this is what the first screen of ManyChat looks like. So on the left-hand side, you can kind of see that there is a whole bunch of options, and one of them is growth tools. So I'll just kind of give you a brief explanation about what a growth tool is before I dive into how building it. So a growth tool is a tool that you can connect to your ad, and it will help respond to some of your more info comments. So it's a really great way to automate your business. Okay, so you can see I have a ton of different growth tools, but I'm going to show you how to set one up from the very beginning tonight. So up in the top right-hand corner, you see that there's a new growth tool button. Go ahead and click on that. And there's a few different options that you can choose. The one that we're always going to use is Facebook comments. And go ahead and click on that, and it's going to bring you to this screen. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to select your ad or any other post that you want to put out there that you're going to have people comment that you want this growth tool to respond to. If you've recently posted a brand new ad, you will probably see it in here in your list. If it's from a while ago, you're going to want to go to custom, and you just want to go grab your URL for your ad, and you can put it in here. Just for tonight, I'm just going to pick a post so you can see how it's set up. So
can you describe what a URL is, just for those people that don't know?
Yeah. So you're I don't know. Can you give a good explanation of a URL? It's the address. Okay, so Will's going to help me out with this one because I just know it as a URL. Sorry, guys. But it's your web address. So when you go into Google and you type in, you search for something and it takes you to a page, and then you have that information up in your Google bar. That's your URL. that makes sense.
Like
Sean,
on your
maybe you
like
can
on
go
your
better.
like on your page where it says https://manychat.com up there at the top. Like that's
Yeah.
that whole address.
Yeah, you can kind of see it up here. I'll highlight it for everybody.
Yeah.
That's a URL.
That's your URL. Just so you guys know, right?
All right. So I'm just going to choose one of my most recent posts just to make it easy for showing you guys tonight. So I'm going to choose this one. And so now you can see that my post is here. And this is going to be, if somebody comes and comments on this, this is where it's going to respond. All right. So there's a few things that you have to be really careful of, and you need to make sure that you check off and put in here correctly, or your growth tool isn't going to work correctly. So the first one you're going to do is you're going to check this. I confirm that the selected post is explicit, that this page is going to contact users who comment via Messenger. So we're always going to want to make sure that that gets checked off. And then we're going to toggle this over so it's on. And this is just going to track your first level comments. So we just want to make sure that, when somebody's just, the very first comment they put in there, that's where it's going to respond. It's not going to respond to a whole bunch of people that reply underneath it. And then you have the option when a user leaves a comment to send a message. And you can choose, there's a few different options, which is really awesome. So you can automate this to what works best for your audience. You can either respond to them immediately. You can choose seconds or minutes. And when you do choose seconds and minutes, it lets you change it. You can do 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever is best for your audience. I mostly like to just leave it at about 1 or 2 minutes, and then that way, they're not wandering off and getting a message an hour later. You're responding in a timely fashion and you're getting back to them as quickly as possible. The quicker you get back to people, the more likely they are going to respond back to you. So I usually like to do it for about 1 or 2 minutes. All right. So now this is where you're going to exclude any comments. And these are kind of like your hate words. If people, comment on your ad and say scam, well, you obviously don't want to be like, hey, it's Will and Paige. It's so nice to meet you. I'm so excited to share more information with you. They're going to be like, what are you talking about? I just wrote scam on your ad, right? So you don't want to pick up any of those comments. A really great way to know what you want to put in here is this, you actually just go over to your business page. Just give me 1 second so I can move these guys around. So if you go to your business page, this is ours, and you go to settings, and under this general tab, about halfway down, you see these page moderations. So this is something that you set up when you first set up your page. In the very, very beginning. And you can actually just go in here and you can copy these all out and put them in. I noticed when I was setting up my presentation tonight that Facebook used to let you go in and just copy and paste them. It doesn't look like they've let you do that anymore. So just for the presentation tonight, I kind of copied them onto a Word document so that I could put them in here. But that's a great place right there to go get all these words and put these words in that box. So let's go back to ManyChat, and we're going to put in here. So the only thing that's really important to remember here is that you don't want to have any spaces between the words, and you just want to separate them by a comma, and then just leave it like that. So you put all those in there like that. And then the next box is only trigger for comments with these keywords. So say your ad has the link in it for the webinar, and you say something at the bottom like, if you're a little unsure, comment more info below, and we'll reach out to you and send a message. So here's where you're going to put those keywords so that ManyChat can trigger it and send them the message. So you kind of want to put a combination of different things, because some people might not always follow your rules, and you say more info and they might just put info, or they might put information or something like that. So you want to kind of put a variation of the keyword in here so that it will catch all of those. So I've got more info, just info, information. You could put in here like message me, just think of all the things that people might comment, because you want to try and pick up. You want to make sure you're picking up all of those messages and not missing them. Okay. So whatever your kind of your call to action is in there, that's where you want to put that information. All right. So when you've got everything in here, this is what it should all look like. You can go ahead and click next. And this is going to be where your message goes. This is going to be the message that gets sent out to the person that's commented what you wanted to on your ad. So you can say something along the lines of, hey there, I am super excited to share more information, or maybe you could do this. Let's try this again. Thank you for commenting on our Facebook post. We are excited to share more information with you. Oh, can't type, sorry. But this is a great place where you can, start your conversation with them. So ask them a question in this first message. You could say something like, but first, before we dive into all the details, can you share with us what has got you thinking of starting an online business? So something kind of along that line. It just needs to be short and sweet. Take the time to thank them for, reaching out. You're willing to provide more information, and then just start up a conversation and just kind of, get that flow going. So that's really about it, guys. Then you can go ahead and hit next. You don't have to worry about anything here. If you just want to send that initial message, you don't have to worry about anything here. And then when you're ready to go, you can save and activate it.
Yeah,
and then you can kind of see up in this top right-hand corner that it's activated and it's ready to go. So if anyone was to go and comment, on that post that I just set up, ManyChat will send them a message. And that's really about it.
That's awesome. And a couple of questions here. Do you have to upgrade to Pro to do this?
That's a good question. No, it's part of the free part of it. So you can just use the free version and you can still set up a growth tool.
And can you give some examples about why somebody would want this on their page? Like, what's the purpose of having a growth tool?
Yeah, so it's just a really great way to automate your business. Especially for Will and I, like Sean mentioned, we have 3 kids under 3. So we don't have the opportunity to sit in front of our computer all the time and just respond to messages left, right, and center. So this is a great way to get that first message, make that first contact with them, and then it gives you a little bit of time to, get them to respond, and then you can continue that conversation on your own. So it's just a really great way to automate your business.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much, Paige, for walking us through that. It's a powerful tool. And we have some more powerful things coming up. Listen, why are we addicted to Netflix? Why are we addicted to movies? Like, who doesn't, type in the chat, yes, if you like movies. I'm not saying you watch them all the time. I know there's some people like, well, I don't even have cable, Chris. But somehow yet, you find a way to watch some TV show, some documentary, some movie, and sometimes it's great. A lot of yeses are going through the chat. Here's why. Storytelling. We're human. We can't resist a great story, and a great story actually is really hard to tell. But tonight, Sean is about to show us a way to make it simpler, to make it faster, and he's got the storytelling matrix. So Sean, tell us a little bit about this matrix.
Yeah! Thanks so much for the intro, Chris. That's awesome. All right, guys, check this out. I know there was a few questions that were coming through the chat roll about ManyChat. Paige, if you get a chance, could you and Will maybe just jump in and answer? I think Feely's got a question and some of the other ones in there. But guys, tonight I'm going to answer the question. I want to know anybody in the audience right now that's at this point where they're like, man, I just wish I could write good stories. I wish I had a whole bunch of them. I wish I had a cheat sheet. So if you want a cheat sheet of how to write, or you want a cheat sheet where you can use the cheat sheet to create lots and lots of stories all at once, write yes in the chat roll, because I want to make sure that you guys want this. Because When I did this the first time around, people were like, oh my God, Sean, this is super duper powerful. Now, the teaching comes right out of this book, Expert Secrets. If you guys don't have this book, go get it. Russell Brunson wrote it. It's probably the best one about internet marketing on the planet. Then open it and turn to page 114. If you have the book handy, you can do exactly as I just did, right? 114, there's this cool little diagram here, okay? That's what we're going to be basing the framework off of, and there's 8 major questions in the little diagram that's on the thing. So what I've done is basically collapse time frames for you. Okay, so what that means is you can build this document, and then you're going to be able to create a whole bunch of stories off of it, okay? And Jessie, since she was the pick a number panelist, super excited. Jessie, it's a little interaction. I hope you're ready for this. I'm going to go to my share screen right now. Chris, let me know when I got a share screen up. That's cool. And there we go. Cool. Can you see my screen?
We can see it.
All right. Okay, here's how it works. You guys may want to take a screenshot of this page. Hold on, let me just make sure this is good. There we go. Okay, maybe take a screenshot of this page. Very simple format. Okay, as you see, each column relates to one of the questions that's on page 115 of this book. But what we're going to do is we're going to shorthand all of this, and then I'm going to show you exactly the flow chart or the formula of how to create a bunch of different stories. Okay, so Jessie, are you with me? Let's come off mute there.
Yes.
Okay, so Jessie, what I'd like to do is, here's how you guys start. Now, have a glass of wine, do your thing, get relaxed, get ready to brainstorm. This is a brainstorming exercise. So what you want to do is you want to start the first one in the book. Okay, so I'm going to read the question to you right out of this book so you know exactly what I'm asking. Here's the question for the backstory, okay? So we're going to do this. We're going to just play a little interaction. So the question is this. What is your backstory that gives us a vested interest in your journey? Okay, so now I'm going to start right here, and I'm personally just going to take a few notes. I'm going to ask you, what's your backstory? Why would people be interested in listening to you?
I am from a family of 5, so money was never really very easy to come by. We had a stay-at-home mom, which also made it a little more difficult. But I also wanted to find that source of income online, so tried a couple of different other businesses that ended up failing, and I lost a couple of $1,000s doing it as well.
Okay, so you lost money. What else? Tell me a little bit more. Like, you're from North Carolina, you said earlier, with your tattoo. Is that the place you want to stay, or is like, what's the why are you drawn to North Carolina? What's the thing?
I love mountains. Hence why I got the tattoo.
Okay.
And I'd like to stay here, but I also love to travel. A couple different countries in Europe have crossed my mind many times.
Okay, cool. So we can stop there. I just want to, for intensive purposes, show you guys how this activity that we've just created in less than a minute for Jessie to use. Each one of these could be the backstory to her whole story. So now I'm going to ask you the second question in the book, Jessie, is this. The second question says, I should really just leave this open. It says on 115 here, what is it that you want to accomplish? Okay? So tell me, what is it internally that you truly want to accomplish in your lifetime?
There's a couple of close friends that I would love to have them move in with me and for them not to have to pay rent.
Okay. Help friends. Okay. That's an external because, okay.
Internal, I want my freedom back.
Okay. Want freedom. Okay, what else?
Oh gosh.
What does freedom mean to you? Like, what's the internal thing? Like, would it give you fulfillment? Would it, like, what's going to light you up inside?
Being able to dictate how I spend my time.
Own your schedule.
Yes.
Okay, what else?
Something that's going to light my fire.
Okay. Your fire's not lit. Why is your fire not lit?
Majorly because I don't own my own schedule.
Okay.
That's my main.
Okay. I want you to brainstorm a little bit more. It's a little painful right now, but I want you to get in there, right? So like an internal desire would be like, prove it to myself. Like, that's a good one. Like, get over my fear, right? Your fear of failure. Like, that's an internal thing, right? So, like, I'm just going to throw those out because you said those earlier. Get over your fear of failure. This is cool. Watch, guys. This is going to turn into something magical here in just about 2 seconds. All right, so I'm just going to space this thing out. Okay, cool. So now we've got 3 different desires that we can pull from. Now we've got 2 external. You were just saying them. What else do you want to accomplish externally?
Like I said earlier, give my mom the trip of her dreams.
Okay, so mom, the trip of dreams. What else?
I'd love to own my own house.
Own my own house. What else?
Be able to tell my family about this business because I haven't told them yet.
Okay, so nervous to tell friends and fam what you're doing. Is that because of your fear of failure or fear of what they're going to tell you?
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So those are good for now. We'll start here. And, okay, so here we go. Okay, we got a couple here in this column now. Now let's go to, what's the thing that stopped you so far? Now, you mentioned to me earlier that you've tried and failed. Okay, so that's a wall. What else has happened to you that has caused you to hit this wall and not be successful prior to moving into our community?
Something usually happens as soon as I started a business where maybe I had to pay more in taxes one year, so I couldn't afford the annual or the monthly.
Unexpected bills. Stops momentum. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
Too much. All those other times I tried, I was in college, and so there were so many papers and assignments, so sidetracked.
Not enough time. Got it. Okay, we can stop there for intensive purpose. Just want to make sure this is very easy for everyone to understand what I'm doing here. Okay, cool. All right, now, the epiphany. What was the thing that you saw, heard, or listened, or found that drew you into our program? What was the thing? The thing you saw, like you saw Cheyenne's ad? Is that what happened, or?
Yes.
Okay. What was the ad about?
They were talking about being a millennial and just being able to have their own time and have their own schedule.
Okay. Have own time and schedule. Okay, so there you go. That's cool. We only need one real big epiphany. That's cool. Let's go on to the plan. So after you saw that ad, what was your plan? Because you knew you'd failed in the past, and then you're like, oh my God, I said this thing. Like, what was your plan?
I gathered a lot of information.
Okay.
Watched a lot of different videos.
Okay. Key. Okay, so you got info. What else?
I needed to make sure that Cheyenne was a real person, so had a face-to-face call with her.
Legit. Okay. And then what else?
After my coaching call, I had just to make sure that everything was going to line up properly, that I could set my budget up how it needed to be. And all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so set budget for success. Oops, success.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's a good plan to at least get started. Now, as you're getting started into this business and you're growing and you're learning and your mind is exploding, like, what was the biggest problem that you encountered in your life with growing your business, I should say?
Yeah. So when I started, I had a full-time job, full-time grad school, and then here comes a full-time side business.
Okay. So time was a big thing. What was the other conflict?
A couple friends kind of picked up on what I was doing, and they were very lenient and, hating on me.
Okay. What else?
My failure would just keep coming back. I was like, is this really going to work? Is this really going to be successful?
Okay. What else? Any other ones?
I guess another one was always money, because when you think about how much to set your ad budgets at,
got it.
Can I afford to do that?
All right, cool. Now, let's say fast forward about 12 months from now and everything works just dandy. We wave a magic wand and you're living like Ashley Crooks is living. I can't wait to hear her story in a minute because she's like amazing. But what is the achievement that you're going to, you said, become a 6A. Okay, what else?
At that point, I'm hoping that I have given my friends a rent-free place to live.
Okay. Friends, rent-free place. Okay, what else? One more.
And given Mom her dream trip.
Dream trip. Okay, cool. Now, so there's your achievements. And as you've gone through this whole entire journey, what would you say is the biggest transformation that you're going to experience, maybe that you haven't experienced quite yet?
I think one of the things that has started and will continue to go is the change of my mindset.
Okay, be more specific. You can't just say that. A little bit more specific. What about your mindset?
Going from almost like this poor mindset of I can't afford to do this, I don't have time for this, and changing it to, well, I do have the time, but where am I spending it? How am I using that time in other ways that I can maybe not be on my phone as much and focus more on planning and getting ahead of posts or ads.
Okay. So taking back your time, I think, is kind of in a roundabout way of saying that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to throw one in here too, because Ashley always tells me this. Become the best version of yourself, right? So we always talk about doing that. So there's a couple of good ones there that we can play with. Now we've filled out the matrix. Let's say it might take you guys a little bit longer to do this, but again, this is an incredible exercise that's going to change everything for you. Okay, now here's the next step. Once you've got this thing filled out, I want everyone to be very clear on this. You can do this every time with anything. It works in any industry, any business, anywhere, okay? So what we're going to do next is I'm going to come back here. I'm going to grab the circular tool here. And let me just change the format of the circular tool with no fill. There we go. And I'll make the outline red. Oh, come on. Sorry for my not good skills here, but we will change the border to a little bit thicker and we'll make it red, just so you guys can very clearly see what I'm doing. All right. So now we have this circle here. So as of the backstory, I want you to focus on backstory for a column for a second. Which one is the most important to you?
I think my most important is the tried and failed.
Okay, cool. So we're going to put a little circle around that one. Okay. Next column. What is the biggest one for you?
Getting over fear of failure.
Okay. So we're going to move this circle right to here. All right. Say, now you know the game. Let's play. What's the next column?
Mom, the trip of dreams.
Mom, trip of dreams. Okay, what's the next one?
Not enough time.
Not enough time. What's the next one?
The ad from Cheyenne.
Okay, so this one's going to be in there no matter what. This is the epiphany. That one's going to stay. All right, cool. What's the next one?
Needed to verify it's legit.
Okay, that was the most important because you've been burned in the past, yes? Got it. Okay. Now what's the next one? Biggest conflict?
Full-time job.
Full-time job, taking up all your time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, if you had to choose just one of those, achievement and transformations, which would be the most important to you?
Becoming 6A.
Okay, so hitting the top rank. And what about your transformation?
Become best version of yourself.
Becoming the best version of yourself. Okay, cool. So guys, what I've just done is I've mapped out a story for Jesse. Does that make sense? So you draw all your backstories and then you circle the ones of the story that you're going to write. Now what I'm going to do, just so you guys can kind of hear how this sounds, is I'm going to unscreen share And actually, no, I'm going to leave the screen share up and you can see my mouse here. I'm actually going to just move my mouse along as I'm telling this story in a way that she could tell the story. Here's the best part, Jesse. You can take this replay, you can grab just the section that I'm telling this story, send it to Rev, get it transcribed, and now you have a kick-ass story ad when I'm done with you, okay? This is a good thing, right? Are you excited?
Yes.
Okay. Here's, let me get into character here. Okay. Take off my glasses here. So I've never done this before, guys. This is going to be awesome. I've never said this story before, but this is cool. This is kind of how it can sound in your world, which is going to be awesome. All right. Whew. You ever had that feeling where you just try and try and try, but you beat your head up against the wall? Like, this happened to me so many times, I can't even explain it to you. And I've tried so many different ways to get out of the cycle, but I find myself going down this deep, dark spiral, and it turns into this negative loop. And the worst thing that happens to me is I get all this head trash, and I find myself at the bottom of every whiskey bottle. Can you relate with that? Okay, cool. So here's the thing, like, I have this lifestyle that I'm not really okay with anymore. And I needed to find a way to crack out of it. I needed to break out of it, right? And I needed to figure out a way, because every time I had failed, I always found myself building up this bigger and bigger and bigger fear. And then what happened is this: I would go and I would look at these other programs that I could try and I could do, and like they could possibly help me break out of the old life that I had. And you know, like, I want to live on the beach. I don't want to be in North Carolina anymore. I want to twinkle my toes in the sand and go swimming in the oceans and everything else. But the thing is that every time I failed, it just built up. And it was like, this molehill out of a mountain concept was like, I had this mountain of fear because I had failed so many freaking times. And all I ever really wanted to do was focus on winning or changing my situation financially so that I could give my mom the trip of her dreams. Like, that was my big focus, because I love my parents. My mom has given so much to me, and I couldn't give back, and I haven't been able to give back, and it's been eating at my soul deep down internally at me, and I know I'm better than what I'm getting. Like, I'm underpaid, I'm overworked, I'm doing all these things, I'm working for these other people, I'm building up their dreams, and I just keep thinking to myself, like, what am I doing? Like, the system's broken. Traditional education sucks. It's not in the thing anymore, right? And the problem was, every time I would try one of these things, like, look, I'm a college student, right? I'm working my way through college. I'm a millennial. I'm getting into the next place. But the thing is I never have enough time. And what do I mean by that? Well, look, I have to write these term papers, these essays. I have to take finals. I have to go walk my dog. I have to go spend some time over here and there and do all these other things. And the problem is I never have, like, a focused amount of time where I could dive in. And then one day I was sitting on the couch when I was completely exhausted and just out of my mind, just like, how am I going to fix this? I want to give my mom the trip of her dreams. I don't know what I'm doing. And this thing popped into my feed. And this young girl was, like, younger than me, but she was living the lifestyle that I was, like, craving. She was on the beach, and she started talking about this whole thing about, like, you can own your own schedule. And in fact, as I was listening to her story, she had a bigger education than I was getting. Like, she's an engineering degree, like, in mechanical engineering, but she dropped out of college. And at that moment, I realized that was the thing that hit me in the head. I said, oh my God, she dropped out. I can do it too. And when I knew that I could do it too, I said, I'm going to build a plan. But the problem was I need to verify that it was legit. Why? Because everything online is either a gimmick or a scam. Let's be real. Like I said, I've tried and failed so many different times. I spent all this money, and I haven't gotten anywhere yet. But I have learned some things along the way. But every single program had these potholes. So I needed to verify that the thing that she was doing was actually legit. So what I do, I got a bunch of info, I watched a bunch of videos, I talked to her personally, like, how often do you get to talk to somebody? And she just confirmed all of my suspicions. It was real, it was legit. It was backed up by a product that's kick-ass, right? And the coolest part was, I could do it. And I was so excited about it. But here's the thing, as I dove in, because I dove in right away because I knew this was the thing, everything kept getting in the way. I remember I told you that. It was like, I had these term papers, and I had this full-time job, and I was doing all this other stuff, and it was like, I couldn't really figure it out. But that's when my coach, the girl that I saw from the ad, had like a whole plan dialed in for me. And I was so grateful, right? Because if I couldn't get a hold of her, I could go to this community that I had access to. And I had 10 other people on my coaching staff. And it was epic because they answered all these questions that I couldn't do myself. And like the best part was, because I was working this full-time job, when I had a question, I couldn't get a hold of my coach, I could send a note into this group of people, and then they would respond to me on their time, and I could go back when I had time. What I found was this platform was everything to me. Because usually when people climb online, there's all these different softwares they got to master. And this program said, if I master social media paid advertising, the one skill, the one thing that I can do to win the game, everything's over. And then they said, I asked, my question was this, how much time does it take? And the response was 1 to 3 hours a day, part-time, get started. And I was like, I could do 1 to 3 hours a day. That's cool. And then as I got, you know, it's like I'm moving in this program and I'm moving forward, and I was able to like release some of the stuff that I was doing, and I started spending more time, and I fell in love with this thing. And I fell in love with the coaching and the training, and it was just epic, and I have a product that I'm so excited about. And here's the coolest part, guys. I have now gotten to the place where I have a clear path. I'm not there yet. I'm on my way, but I have a clear path to being one of the top people in my organization, right? That means that they print their own schedule. That means just like my coach, I can go travel the world and do the things. But here's the thing, remember? I wanted to give my mom that trip. That was the most important thing to me. But at the same time, I wanted to be recognized as one of the best. And now I have a pathway to get there. The cool part is that my journey has only just begun, and I'm feeling like I'm becoming the best version of myself. And I couldn't be more excited about it. So check this out. Like, if you have a story similar to this, because I don't know if you do, this isn't for everybody, but if you do and it kind of relates to you, like, check it out. There's a link in the comments above. Just click that link, drop a name and email in, watch a free video, and learn if this platform's for you. Look, I had to make sure it was legit. Maybe that's you too. If that's the case, let's jump on a call and talk. But like, click that link, watch that video first. That's the first step. And then we'll know. And if this is for you, look, I'm going to grab you by the hand and I'm going to walk you step by step through until you hit your goals. I'll see you on the inside. And scene. Okay. Jesse, how was that?
That was pretty good.
Okay. So is this something that now you can take that and build your own? I mean, I was a little bit dramatic, but I think that's kind of gives you the path and the plan, and so I just want to share that with you.
Yeah.
You like that? All right, everybody in the audience, do you know now, you understand the method of creating your own story matrix? Does that make sense, right? Yes, in the chat roll, because check this out, guys. This is a secret, because I could have done any of these, and I could have mixed and matched all of them, and now I have a million different stories that I can make from one cheat sheet. So I hope that helps you guys tonight. Make sure and check that out. I will drop this template in the Facebook page, on the DGL Facebook page, so you guys can grab a hold of it. But I want to hear a little bit of feedback from one of the coaches. So I'm going to talk to Kristen. Let me talk to you for a second. Is this tool something that you can use for your organization to help others?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing about it is, if you don't feel comfortable on video, make yourself do that 5 times. Like, literally, pick, because you had like 3 to 5 bullets, make 5 or 10 different stories and just make yourself do that. Make yourself word vomit it, record it. Like, we always talk about, okay, just practice video, just practice video. I tell my clients that all the time, just keep practicing, you're going to get better, and you are going to get better. But how do you actually give them active feedback to take, like, how do I practice? I can give them a topic and let them run with it, but this is like boom, 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 boom. So take all of your bullets and make all the stories, and you'll find the winning one. I mean, that's an awesome thing. I loved it.
Cool. Awesome. All right. That is it for you guys tonight. I hope that's helpful. If you didn't take a picture of that, shame on you. Back to you, Chris.
Yes, right fire in the chat. If you guys like what Sean was putting down there, think if you've ever struggled with putting together a story, like that kind of solves the problem. It's a simple, systematic way of putting stuff down and sparking creativity. There's nothing worse than looking at a blank white page with the cursor blinking back at you, wondering like, I finally sat down to do this and I don't know what to do or how to start. So that is a really, really powerful tool to get rid of that. Moving on to the next section. Type yes in the chat if you've ever been frustrated with Facebook from time to time. Kristen has also had to deal with that, maybe even more than most of us, because she's just been in Facebook so long. But thankfully, she's spending some of her time tonight with us to give us some Facebook updates. Kristen, I'm so excited to hear what you have to say tonight.
Well, okay, so I'm going to be really real with you all. Like, I'm not going to paint a rosy picture here. I'm going to, like, I think everybody deserves reality, right?
We wouldn't expect anything else from you.
Yeah, and so, like, the thing about it is, I forgot. Hold on. Timer. Okay, got it. So the thing about it is, I don't want to take up too much time tonight, but there has been a lot of changes, and we know that. I told you guys they were coming, so everybody understands if you've been inside your ad manager at all. Even the platform of Facebook looks different today. Today or yesterday, you got a new platform rolled out that's white instead of blue. Everybody thinks that that's not a big deal. That's the first time that they've changed that in 6 years, guys. Like, that's actually pretty major. They don't do anything without a ton of money research. So I was actually listening in yesterday on the F8 forum, which is the developer updates. They do that. I can't remember if it's every 6 months or every quarter, but you're more than welcome to go in and geek out on things like that as well. It's under the facebook.com/business. You can see the recap. Mr. Zuckerberg spoke yesterday, gave us some updates, and so I spent a lot of time over the last 3 weeks pounding my head against a wall, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. Everybody's been like, where are you? And I've been trying to figure out how to make ads work for my clients, because the whole fact of the matter is it's amazing to have an agency, but when things change in Facebook and your clients aren't winning, you're not winning. And it's the same way in our businesses. You know, we have to focus on what makes us money, which for me, I have to focus on the agency, but also our businesses are our lifeblood. And when our ads are frustrating us, or when Facebook throws us a curveball, if it happens to the same, like, okay, let's say you have 10 people on your team and it happens to 9 out of 10, you know that it's got to be something pretty standard with Facebook and not just your own account or an issue that you've been having. So I know actually several people in the chat have privately messaged me and they're like, what is going on? My reach is... I want to tell you guys, first of all, just a couple quick things that you're going to see really within the next month to 3 months. But one really important thing, and then I want to leave you guys with a tip. So a couple of just overall things. Engagement in 2019 is set by the end of 2019. Overall engagement in Facebook is set to double. And you guys are like, well, I'm not seeing the engagement. You're like, oh, I don't know that it's doubling. Okay, that's a negative way to look at it. A lot of times in engagement on Facebook, more often than not, over 50% of engagement in Facebook is negative. Okay, so if your engagement isn't growing, don't look at that as a negative all the time. It could be positive because your engagement is positive. We'll go and troll all kinds of, they'll troll our ads at times, but they'll troll all kinds of news outlets, and that's where a lot of the engagement comes from. And that's exciting. You know, there's 3 things that are happening right now that I think are really interesting. One of the things is, why are, you guys have probably seen the little banner, and if you've seen it, let me know in the chat, but why am I seeing this ad? Because I've interacted with something before. Why am I seeing this piece of information? It may not be an ad, it may be like a link or a video. So why is that important to us as marketers? Facebook is going through a lot of transparency. They're trying to create more transparency on the platform. So when the algorithm shows up and just randomly, boom, 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 you get things, has anybody ever clicked on something and then, like, I know I was looking up in-game stuff. I'm a nerd. I was looking up in-game information, and then I started getting a bunch of, like, Entertainment Tonight, like Marvel, and I was like, I never look at Entertainment Tonight, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So I dug into that a little bit. And if you guys, I just want to give you guys a tip on how to be a little more intuitive of a marketer, because this actually really helped me with a client last week. I was on their one-on-one call, a lot of pressure when you're the only one on the one-on-one call with somebody, and they were wanting to know answers, why things weren't performing. And I was like, okay, let's screen share, let's dig into this. So I started looking into there's a little I information button above the area where it says, why am I seeing this? There's a little I information button. You can actually drill down into similar things that you've looked at in the last 30 days now on Facebook. So I did not know that previously. I think that's new. Like, I don't quote me on that. I didn't research that, but I think that's fairly new. So you can see, it's not your whole history by any means, but think about in the terms of what you want people to be clicking on and what you want to show up under. So for instance, if you're making an ad about healthy living. Let's say that you want people to be healthier on your page. Let's think about what are some of the patterns that those people would have. In this instance, my client was just doing the same type of ad that had been working. It was a conversion ad. I'm going to get to that in a second. And this client had just been doing the same type of ad with a different picture. Every month we were getting very lazy with it, okay? I was complacent. We were just changing up pictures and split testing pictures, keeping the copy almost exactly the same. It was a conversion ad. So we changed completely. I decided to do a video. we placed it, and then I did some research, and this is something really interesting. Does anybody have a conversion ad running on Facebook right now? Drop it in the chat, conversion, if you've got one running. Because I did not know this personally until I was today years old. So 50, okay, you have to have 50 conversions on your Facebook ad. And like, this is straight from facebook.com/business. So this is not a Kristen idea. You have to have 50 conversions and before your pixel knows how to serve your conversion ad properly to your audience. 50, okay? So I think I had read a metric like that at some time in the past, but it's always changing. So then I was like, okay, well, if there has to be 50 conversions and I have a brand new conversion ad, what happened first? Like the chicken or the egg kind of thing that I always talk about. So what this post said, and I was like, genius. What this post said was change your conversion ad to link clicks first. Let it run link clicks for 1 to 2 weeks, and some of you may know this and you're really pros, but I did this. I just went through and changed 3 of my clients to link clicks. Let it run for, I don't know, depending on your budget, I would say at least 1 to 2 weeks. Depends on how much you're spending. But then switch it back to conversions. It'll double serve, is what this told me. And I was like, whoa. And the reason is because your pixel isn't well enough trained. So many people want to go in, get that epic story ad written that we all talk about in our amazing training. And then they're like, I want to put that conversion ad out there. I need conversions. I need sales. And we get into that mentality. But we don't think about training the actual pixel. And I have never read, literally have never read before the 50 conversions to train your pixel. So what better way to do that than before you place it as just conversion, put it as link clicks. I loved that concept. Some of you may have already known that. If you didn't, that's a hot tip for you that I went in and actually tried on 3 of them today, so I can keep you guys updated on how that went. Also, if you guys go into your ads manager, I want to leave you with this tip. I'll finish up by saying one of the things that's changing that I'm really excited about, on a really positive thing, is inside of Messenger, in the next 3 months, we're going to see 2 things happening. We're going to see, if you go into your Messenger, you're going to see lead generation and appointment setting features inside of Facebook Messenger. So we already can set a plan right now inside Facebook Messenger, not ManyChat, just Messenger. You can already set a plan to follow up with somebody or call somebody. It'll give you a suggested plan. Well, how many of you, drop in the chat if you've already done this. I know Ritz, I've seen it on his page. How many of you have blocked out your scheduling availability in Facebook? So when you have time for appointments, that is a tool that's really trendy right now. That's a new Facebook thing. I think within the last month or so, that's been new. And that's really getting high in the algorithm if you can put your availability, not just your business hours. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about appointment availability. If you have appointments, like for video calls, let's say you block out a couple hours a week for that. I think it's an awesome service if you have time for it. So you can then connect that into your Messenger and they can connect it to your Google Calendar or your iCalendar. I think that's awesome. So that's coming down the pike. Super excited about that. And also super excited about lead generation. So there's going to be in Messenger lead generation. Right now you can place Messenger newsfeed ads. We all know that. But there's going to be in Messenger lead generation metrics. People are spending more time in stories in Messenger than they are on the Facebook platform between the hours of the evening, between the hours of 6 and 10 p.m. So they're actually spending more time conversing with people in Messenger than they are on the actual Facebook platform, probably because they're at work. I mean, that would kind of make sense, right? So since people are in Messenger so much, one of the metrics that I saw that was really interesting from Falcon.io, which is a resource that I shared with you guys last time. Falcon.io was saying in this article that I read that stories are on trend to be shared double. In this year, double of what Facebook posts are. Stories are on trend to be shared. Almost double. It was 22%, or I'm sorry, 42% more. It was within the 40s more than Facebook posts are. Makes sense. Stories go through Messenger. Makes sense. People are spending their time, they're communicating in Messenger. So Messenger is going to become a sales platform just like it has become in Marketplace. So when you're using your placements and you're doing your ads, Messenger was something that I was not playing around with until about 2 months ago. I got really serious on Messenger and I've seen some great results. So if you're having trouble with your placements or if you're trying to just, let's try something different, do a Messenger only story ad. I mean, why not, right? I would honestly love to see and hear how that goes for you guys. Optimization and delivery is the thing that I want to leave you guys with. Has anybody, this is something that I had never done until yesterday. Has anybody gone in and, has anybody gone in and seen their audience overlap inside of Facebook Ads Manager. So you would go to create audience, you would go to the actions tab, and then go to your show audience overlap. I had a client that had a pretty large budget, and I suggest all of you jump off of this later tonight and go and look. If you have more than one ad running, if you don't, there's no overlap, spoiler alert. If you have more than one ad running, go to create audience, actions, show audience overlap. You guys could be overspending. You're probably underspending. A lot of us have smaller budgets, but you could be overspending if you have 2 large budget ads and they're similar targeting. And a lot of people say, well, that's just my demographic. You're overserving the population. Your reach is going to be lower because of that. So Facebook has a couple of cool things with ad capping that's coming out. They won't be probably until the end of May, so we can talk more about those. But definitely check, because that's something I had never done, and I had 2 clients that I was able to turn that off for, and I was able to deviate the money somewhere else. When you only have $5 to $10 a day to spend, you want everything to count. So everybody jump off of this call, get excited about the messenger stuff, super exciting. If you're not doing stories, make sure to use stories. Stories are so powerful right now. They're being shared almost more, like over 40% more at this point. They're trending, being shared more than posts. So not to say you shouldn't use posts, but definitely use stories as well. And then also go to create audience, actions, and show your audience overlap for any ads that you're actively running, just to try to save some money. And obviously get onto falcon.io. They had an amazing article where some of this stuff came from. So check out those things. But that's just a couple of tips for you guys. I hope it helps.
Woo! That was some hot fire. Let's go to Will and Paige. 30-second rebuttal.
Awesome tips. I didn't know that about the unique link clicks at all, so that's something that I definitely want to test. But I did have a question. I probably didn't frame it very good in the chat, but you said, and I kind of knew this about you needed so many conversions to have your pixel to really know who to go after. Does it matter if it takes like 2 weeks to get those conversions, or 2 days, or does it not matter at all?
So I don't think that it matters overall, but what they said was within 30 days. And I actually was like looking on Facebook for this. Sometimes when it's really important to me, I just go to Facebook, or I will reach out to them in the chat just for that specific question, because there's so many contradictory things that you read in other sources. I think other sources are great to glean information from, but when it comes down to it, like jump in the chat with them or send an email if you have a specific question. But they said within 30 days, because the pixels, like 28 days is the reporting schedule that they're on. And so I think it's the most powerful to hit it within that 28 to 30 day window, but I didn't actually reach out. So I can definitely reach out and then post what I find out about that. But I mean, it makes sense when you're training your pixel, right? You want to do that within like 2 to 3 weeks for one ad. So I would keep it in that. That's just my opinion though.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, guys, write fire in the chat roll if that was fire for you, because it was fire for sure. Kristen, I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you so much. And that might win you the golden belt. I don't know, but maybe not, because this next speaker, guys, let me ask you this, right? This next person coming out to speak, she is one of the people in our community that has earned over 7 figures, okay? So first of all, you're now thinking about somebody that's already made it through the same path that you're going to go through, or you're going through, or you're almost where she's at. Hopefully more and more of you guys go in that direction. But this is your chance right now to hear Ashley Crooks' story. Wouldn't you love to know how she did it? Well, check this out. She's going to come out and share her story tonight. She's one of my favorites people ever on the planet. I just love her and Cam to death, and they live the extended travel lifestyle. It wasn't always this way. She started, humble beginnings, right? We all have. But this young lady is a tried and true student. The reason I really respect her more than anything is she has a continual growth mindset, and she's always a student. The best people I've ever seen succeed online are always students. And so Ashley Crooks is here tonight. She's going to share her story, and then I'm going to pick at her a little bit. Guys, if you have a question that you want to ask Ashley Crooks, a 7-figure earner that's doing exactly the thing that you're doing, like, now is the time. So Ashley, I'm so excited to have you here to hear your story. Come share it.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. So like he said, definitely chime in and ask me questions. I'll just kind of share my story. In the meantime, I'm happy to answer anything that you guys have for me. But yeah, I started this business a little over 2 years ago now. And when I started, it was things were a lot different. I would say, you guys, there's like so many more tools now. It's insane. Everything that's provided for you. So it's a really, really amazing time to get started now. But when I started, I had worked in corporate America, and I kind of did exactly, you know, everything that you were supposed to do in life. Like, I went to college, I went to a really good college, got good grades, you know, and then climbed the corporate ladder. But for me, corporate life was never that awesome. I literally got laid off of like 3 of my jobs. And so as much as like I thought I was putting in, I never got what I expected out. Anyways, my last job, due to a vacation day situation, we supposedly had unlimited vacation days, and I asked my boss, my parents booked a trip to South Africa for their 30th anniversary, and I wanted to go. And my boss told me that if I went, I would be fired, even after like offering to work and everything on this trip. So needless to say, I left that job. I knew that I could never be happy working there. And at that point, that was kind of it for me. I had no job left for South Africa, and came home and had no idea what I was going to do. So I really started looking into absolutely everything. You know, I actually started... I signed up for a web development course. I started doing yoga instructing. I started, I looked into social media management. I went to a real estate seminar. I dragged Cam to this real estate seminar, ended up spending like $1,000 to go to the next level of that. And then I paid another I ended up spending like $50,000 in total on these real estate seminars for like what they promised me would be coaching and mentorship and everything. And I paid all of this, and then they told me I had like half an hour once a week with a coach. And so I was super frustrated. But at that exact same time, I came across this. Like, I was literally signing up for any webinar that you saw. And so I came across this and decided to get started with it. Had really no idea what I was getting myself into at all. But yeah, was again trying everything, didn't even know. But at that time, so I was building this while I was doing multiple other things. So with no job, $50,000 in debt, I had to make something work, and I was like determined to do that. And so I was literally at the same time as I started building this, I was knocking on doors, going door to door with flyers, trying to do real estate. I was, starting to do yoga instructing and taking yoga teacher training. And I was building this amongst other things I was looking into. So when people, like, I understand how people feel when they say they have no money. I was never in debt until like I got that real estate thing. So it was pretty terrifying for me. And I basically at that point burned all my boats, which I think is such a key point to my story and to other people who are successful in this business, is you really have to go all in. Like, I knew that there was no way that I was not going to make this work, and I was willing to do whatever it took. So in that time, again, as I said, I was in a lot of debt. I had no job, so I had to make this work. So I just took the time to really learn everything. I would watch like replays of Train or Die and literally take notes. At that point, like, Sean and Chris were literally celebrities to me. I remember watching them on Train or Die and seeing. And, I would go through all the training, and I would take all the extra steps. I wouldn't just do the few hours, like you can obviously do a few hours a day, but I would see whatever else I could do to keep learning and just consistently ask questions. I think that is the most important thing. And honestly, I wish people would do more of it. So if you think you're bothering me, you're not, please ask me a million questions because I think that is so key, because you are learning an entirely new skill set. So I just asked a million different questions to really figure everything out. And then started to build, I think another big turning point for me was pay attention to advice that you get outside of the community as well, because it's not like, yes, there's so much of a wealth of knowledge in the trainings and with the people in the community, but your friends, your family, other people you interact with also know you really well, and they know what you like and what they like, and most likely you're going to be targeting them too. So it's helpful to know what they like. But someone who I looked up to outside of the community, I was kind of talking to them, and I was saying like, oh, I'm having a hard time. I don't know what to do exactly, what to write. At that point, kind of writing ads was more like see what other people are doing and literally just make it your own. It was very different. And so that wasn't exactly working for me. And they really said to me, like, think about what you would click on. What would you want to read? What would draw you in? And from that like literally changed everything for me. And I wrote an ad that literally got us like our business just blew up from this ad. Instantly we had like $1 leads, and like it just went off. Because I really took the time to figure out who I was and like my voice, and like what I would click on, what would be important to me, and who I really wanted to target, that lifestyle that I really wanted to lead, and was so like true to that. I think like that is such a big piece of it, is really thinking about who you are and what you would love, and then like staying true to that, you know, becoming that person that lives that lifestyle, like Sean was talking about, becoming that best version of yourself. So becoming the best version of yourself that does whatever it is, you know, you're setting out to do. And so at that point, just kind of give you context in with real estate, everything that happened there, we actually had made, it was our third month is actually when we started to bring in like revenue, and it was August. So we started in February, and in August we actually closed a house with real estate, and we realized we had made $8,000 or $10,000 in July doing this business, and we realized that we would have to put a year of work into this house with putting a ton of money in and getting all these loans and like literally doing all these things and not being able to travel, and we would have made 20 grand within that year. And we had just made $8,000 sitting in our pajamas in our laptops. So at that point, we realized like how insane this business truly is, and like all that's possible. And we were just like, okay, screw everything else. Like we are going like full force, like everything, like this is happening. And yeah, and so from there, I mean, as I'm sure all of you know, like absolutely love to travel, and that was really what I wanted out of this business, is to be able to travel and work from anywhere, and live that lifestyle. And so we said, you know, that year, Cam was still working his job, our first year doing this business, and we said that, you know, until that first year, we were going to hunker down. We didn't go on any trips. To some people, it might have looked like we traveled more than, I guess, the average person, but for us, it was like nothing. And we said, you know, we were going to do whatever it took to make it work. And I truly did that. Like I ate, slept, and breathed this business because I loved it so much, and because, you know, I wanted to do whatever it took to create that lifestyle and to be able to now travel everywhere. And we really did that the first almost year and a half of the business, and put in like so much time to do so, and like dedicated everything to learning and consistently learning. Like I love how Sean said that about being an avid learner. That is definitely like one of the main ways I would describe myself. I'm always looking to grow, to better myself, to learn more consistently, because there's always more that you can learn. You know, don't just take what someone tells you, like always go and see what else you can learn and what you can apply. And then, so from last May of last year, at that point, I've had multiple different ads at that time. But May of last year, decided, you know, now we feel good about this, we can go travel. And so about a year ago, I mean, May 10th, we left and we went to Europe. We were there for 4 months. We did like Europe and the Middle East, and we were traveling. We were able to run this business while we were doing that. And then we went to Cuba and Mexico, and then for a few months. And then we went to, we spent like a little over 2 months in Asia. And now we leave tomorrow for Australia and Bali, and we're going to be gone until August. So it's just been like a really amazing journey, you know, diving in and like really truly, sorry about these messages on my, really truly like when you set your sights like for this business, and you know and you commit to that fact, and so many other people I'm sure can attest to this, like when you, like people that have quit their jobs, or when they, you know, their mindset changes, like you can truly like do anything with this business, and so much is possible. Like it really can create that life that you want, whatever that means for you. And what I will say that I've learned as well, and I know everyone says this, but like it is so true, like things will not, like your mindset is the most important part. And literally someone today was like just telling me this, someone who started back in November on my team, they were saying like, you know, they were like, I was so focused on getting a buyer, and then once I actually started embodying the content that I talk about on my page, everything started to fall into place. And she showed me she had like 71 cent leads today. And so it really is just so true, which is so awesome. If you're watching this, but yeah, it's just so true. Like it truly is. And I've even learned that like as progressing, like even honestly this year, I can honestly say like since like when I turned 30 in August, and I said like this year I could tell is going to be so much self-growth, and I've already changed so much in starting the business, but I am literally a different person. Like there's so much self-growth and so much stuff that changes within you as you do this business, because you have to better yourself every step of the way to be able to handle the things that you want to take on, or to be able to coach certain people and to be able to really master this business. So no, like if you're maybe not where you're at, like kind of instead of looking at, okay, well, what are these tactical things I can do? Even Tony Robbins, he said, like, I was listening to a podcast of his recently, it's 80% mindset, 20% of the tactical stuff. So think, okay, how can I become a better version of myself? What can I do to, be able to manage an entire team, to be able to deal with all these different personalities, or, handle the busyness of a business, or manage traveling and my business, or whatever it is for you. Like just keep thinking like, how can I better myself? Because literally it is truly, entrepreneurship in general is a whole journey of self-discovery, and there's a lot of exciting things with it. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I guess, the gist of my story. I see there's some questions and whatnot in the chat. So,
woo! Oh my God, like that was insane, girl. I love it. There's a lot of stuff. Before we jump into the questions in the chat roll, and we'll have Chris kind of ask some of those. I just want to know a couple of questions I had that I think are very valuable for a lot of people, because a lot of people, when they see you or us or some other people, like, guys, you better tune in next week, because we got a guest speaker named Aaron, and he's also a multi-seven-figure earner. It's going to be amazing. But I wanted to share with you, like, those people, like, how much previous knowledge before getting into this business do you think played a role in this business for you?
So I didn't really have much previous knowledge at all, so I don't think it played into it. I do believe that people's past experiences in different ways are going to help them with this business. So like, even if it's not something that you had like with with anything marketing, I think the fact, that I had all those years, like, a lot of people start this right in their young 20s. So like at that point, there's so much life experience that you could go through as well to get there. For me, I started this in my late 20s. So like I had already gone through a lot of growth and different things. So so I don't think any experience is necessary, but I think just think about where you're at in your journey in your life, and like things that and don't compare, because I've had to deal with a lot of stuff like before I found this business, to get to where I am now and to get to the growth. So you don't need any experience, but just kind of think about your past and what skills you had that have helped you like in this business in ways. It doesn't have to be online, but just like.
Yes, that was a great answer. My next question was this. When you first started, I want you to go back in your mind just for a second. When you first started, and 2 questions here. How many ad attempts did it take you before you hit it out of the park? Okay, and you got the help from that. And what was the thing that you had to overcome in the beginning? The biggest thing.
Yeah, for sure. So ad attempts for me, I feel like, so I will say, for me, initially I was getting like $9 leads, $11 leads and stuff. I remember when I got my first like $5 lead cost, I freaked out and I was like, can I scale now? Like, can I scale? So it definitely took some time. But for me, it was probably maybe like fifth or, well, I guess in regards to like actual ad copy that I wrote I can't even remember, but I think it might have been like my maybe like 5th or 6th ad. So for me, it honestly didn't take so many ads, but I did start at about like $15 a day and went to 20. I just wanted like stuff to happen, so I was spending money initially as well.
That's awesome. All right, before we get to the chat, I just want to ask 2 other questions. Number 1, what's the biggest grind period that you remember going through? Because this business, like every business, has ebbs and flows. So what's the biggest grind, and how valuable is being resourceful and using your resourcefulness in the business?
Yeah, for sure. So I think, I think a few things as well. I think for me, I know you asked in the last question, like the biggest hurdle. And I think just the biggest hurdle for me has been like mindset. Like, and as I said, you literally change as a person. So has been like going through all of that, which has been the most awesome thing, but also so hard. You know, you're breaking yourself down to then build yourself up. So I think for me that was it. And then in regards to the grind period, I mean, honestly, I feel like for that first year, or especially for at least for that first year, even especially like maybe like January to March of last year or so, like it was, I mean, I was grinding like really hard. I feel like I was literally like, I mean, anything and everything that I could do, anything that I could learn, figure out. Like, I mean, I was responding to people like instantly, like literally doing everything, not going out, not like doing, not doing things during the week that I thought would interfere on the weekend, stuff like that. So definitely putting in the time for sure, so that I could travel and do all of this now. And then what was your last question that you said?
No, how important is using resourcefulness in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is honestly like the number one skill that someone could have. Actually, it's funny. Sean, at one point a while back, had me fill out, and a few other people, but some like questionnaires or whatnot about, and one of the things was what our best quality was, or what like the most important quality we had was. And for me, I put resourcefulness, because I honestly think it is the most important thing hands down that you can do, because there's so many resources out there, and like with DGL there are like an overwhelmingly amount of resources, especially now. But the thing is, if you don't actually take the time to be resourceful and to go after them, and to find where they are for you, and to make yourself, if someone can tell you the answer to a question, but you're never going to learn that way. Like, unless you take the time to actually find that answer or to figure it out, like that's how you're truly going to learn and truly going to grow. So I think it is so important.
Yeah, right on, Ashley. All right, so we got some questions in the chat roll, and I was just responding to one of them that we're going to fire off at you. All right, first one is, what would you say to those people who do not have the support from their significant others?
I think, I mean, honestly, my response, like, try to filter it actually, because I think that I am so grateful that Cam was always there to support me, and he knew whatever I could do. And so I think that trying to be nice about this, because I think that they should always support you. However, if they don't, I think that it's important. You just have to realize that you're on this path for you. You see something that they might not see yet, and maybe they haven't gone through the whole process. They don't know the community, so you just have to really focus on understanding that as they start seeing changes in you, and you have to go after your dreams and what you want, that they will start supporting you, and they'll start seeing those changes and start wondering what's happening to you and why you're becoming so happy, or why you're growing so much, and then they will join you, or at least support you. So I think it's just realizing they're just trying to protect you. Like, they don't know what this is, they don't know what's going, kind of all the potential with it. So I would say just approach them and kind of with like compassion, understand where they're at, but understand too that it's your life and you have to go after your dreams. And if you feel that this is the vehicle to get there, then just keep grinding every single day at it, and notice that, and know that they will see those changes in you, and that as they start seeing you stick with it, their perspective will change as well.
Right on. Sean said this flawless answer. Next question is, what is the balance of your time between training your team and running your own business?
I think that is definitely always a balance. I think it's just figuring, it ebbs and flows. I think, honestly, figuring out, like, when to, I think I'm always answering messages or thinking of better systems and trying to do things for the team, but also at that point trying to, make sure I have stuff in place for our business as well that we can consistently have either running in the background or, getting everything really set up. So I think, I think honestly it's kind of finding that 50-50 balance on average, and then it definitely does, ebb and flow in certain instances when one or the other needs more attention or more help. But I think it definitely is a balancing act as well to, manage your own business and then provide and help with everything.
Whichever one's squeakiest gets the oil. Is that what I'm hearing? You ever block out certain days, like, hey, this day I'm going to box out and work on the business, or this day I'm going to try to load up more of the team stuff?
Yeah, I mean, certain days I will do like calls on, and so that will be very heavy for the team. And then certain times I really like using like the notes app for to-do lists. It's kind of basic, but it does make me feel like a lot more organized, and I've been using more of Trello. But really just kind of just jotting down everything I have to do, and then if I can bulk stuff up. So if I have more stuff for the team that I have to do, like I've been recording certain videos or doing certain things, then I'll like account those days for it. But because we're kind of so all over the place with traveling and stuff, my days aren't as structured as I would like them to be, or it's not like a specific day a week I'm doing this for the team or this for myself. Right?
A little more juggling going on. Got it. All right, cool. What is the biggest challenge for you when working with new team members?
I think what can be hard working with new team members, and for those of you on here, I think the challenge for me could be sometimes I feel that people don't ask enough questions, and they don't either want to bother me, or maybe I seem intimidating at this point in my business, or I don't know what it is exactly, but I would just love and especially I think sometimes when I don't do my own coaching calls, there can be a disconnect because we haven't formed that relationship there. And so that's a bit challenging for me. I think people feel that when they ask me questions, they're bothering me, but no one is bothering me. I really want to help. Like, for me, that's what gets me going, like coaching people and helping them. So I love checking my messages and having messages and being able to help people. So I think that is like the challenge, is people just don't ask the questions that they have. And I really want people to.
Any tips on how to coach people or coach your clients through that process so other people can hear how you do it? Like getting them to actually like engage and ask you questions. Like, how do you coach someone to do that?
Yeah, so I think what I'm trying now actually a bit more is to actually ask more questions myself. So if I ask more questions to them and get to know them a bit better and get to know where they're at, then they can answer me back. And then from there, I can springboard and ask them more questions to then build that relationship where we're talking more, and then hopefully have them ask me more questions in the future. So I'm trying to.
Right on. Is there a common... what I'm trying to ask is, for new team members coming on, what's like a common struggle you see them have?
Yeah, I think a common struggle for new team members that they have, I would say, is just sometimes sometimes processing all of the information. I think there's so much training now, which is so amazing. But I think sometimes people can get information overwhelmed, and instead of like moving on to that next module or doing the thing that would kind of move the needle for them most, I think some people get caught up in certain things that aren't necessarily super beneficial or super like going to get them to that next step in their business. I think people kind of get stuck at that.
Got it. What made the mindset click from being hopeful to definite for you? What was that shift where you're like, I'm going all in?
Yeah. So just turning on the light here. So I think for me it was I didn't really have any choice, and then I think also just seeing the potential, like seeing what other people were doing and other people sharing their stories, and literally just knowing like that I have an insane work ethic, and that if other people could do it, that I was going to be able to do it, because I was going to literally just figure it out and dig into all the resources, dig into all the things, and just not stop until I kept going. And so I think like if that's something that you're struggling with, I think it honestly comes down to like asking yourself like how much you trust yourself, or how much you know that you're going to be able to put in the time, or you're really willing to commit and do everything. Because if you're willing to literally dig in and do absolutely everything, then all the tools are there for you. And I truly think you can be successful, and you can have that definite mindset.
Hey, I got a quick question from Monster. She came out, she asked me, she said, because this is going to be really valuable for you guys out there. She said, Ash, before you got to mega stardom, mega success that you've had, how did you frame your advertisements that you were writing, your story ads? Because it's like you couldn't go out there and say, I have this Lamborghini and I travel the world and I do all this other cool stuff. Like, how did you position your ad before you got to the thing?
For sure. Yeah, so it was basically, I was saying kind of like where I was at. So I really just told my story. I talked about like what happened at my job and how I got fired for wanting to go on vacation. Really talked about that. So like where I was, and then I talked about, how I watched the Webclass and what I found, and then, the step-by-step training, the mentorship, and everything that we have here. And then I went into really just like, where it's taking me. Like now I can, be able to travel the world, or now I can like, start imagining my future and start picturing like being able to support my future family. And, I really found a vehicle that enables me like to actually, get rewarded for get compensated for the work that I put in, and kind of just talk about where I'm going with it. That's how I did, and where I'm going to travel.
Right on. You got some love in the chat from for that question and for that answer. Next question is, how many different ads do you have running right now?
I don't even know the answer to that.
A lot.
Yeah.
Would you say more than 5?
Yes, more than 5.
More than 10?
I have more than 10 campaigns, but I don't know if I have more than 10 different ads. I'd have to think about it. But I have different ads for like, I have a story ad running. I have like a video ad, so like a written ad. I have a video ad, and then different aspects of retargeting and whatnot as well. So yeah, definitely.
Right on. How did you start with your ads, and did you start with the travel lifestyle right away? So you kind of touched on this a little bit. You just shared your story. When did the travel lifestyle kick in?
So for me, I was always traveling. Like I had actually left my job a few years ago, or I guess now it was 5 years ago or something. And I actually traveled South America by myself for 7 months. So I was like all about travel all the time. And I went to Asia for a few months. So that was just always me. And it was always the lifestyle that I was living. I was working corporate jobs for a long time and stuff, but I always loved to travel and stuff. So I knew that was what I wanted to do. So that was kind of something I always embodied and like was living that I wanted and stuff. But I think if that isn't like the case for you, if you haven't traveled a lot, or if that isn't what you had loved to do in the past, I think that there's a lot of ways that you can still reference it or talk about it. And you can kind of like, there was someone in the community before, Sean and Mel knew really well, but she would always talk about how people loved like, hearing her story and seeing her evolution from working her job to actually like leaving her job and then being able to live this lifestyle, whatever that meant for her. Like, and people love following that journey. So if you're not actually like living that, or you're not, or you've never traveled or anything, like, I don't think that that's a downside. I think people want to see your growth and they want to follow you on that journey. And as you then start living it. So I would say instead of hiding it, bring people along on your journey with you.
That's awesome. Yeah. Document. Really cool. It's a cool process for everyone watching, but also for us to look back on, but then also just the practice of publishing. All right. Next question is, what did your day look like in the beginning besides working on mindset? So let's go. I'll throw a time period to it. Like, your first 3 months or so.
Yeah, so basically, in that time, when I was working on the business and stuff, I would literally be watching, I made sure to watch all the trainings. I would watch, literally go back, and I was, literally taking notes on trainer dies and other types of training so that I would get all the info there. I would, make sure that, my content was posted. I gave myself a Go Live challenge to do, and then I would look at, different ways that I would reach out to people. So I was literally, anyone who liked anything on my page at all, I was friending them, sending them a message to try and, get them on board. And I was, what else was I doing? I was, just really being a sponge to any and everything that I could do, and just always asking, what else could I do? So at that point, I'm trying to think, what else I was doing at that time. I would go through and, I was trying to learn, how to write better ads. In the first 2 months, as I was saying, we had, $9, $11 lead costs. So I was trying to, figure out how to write better ads, learning more about split testing and what I could do there. I was, I was, doing some mindset work, but I was also just really plugging in to see like any training that was there that I could learn, and taking notes on it so then I could apply it to my business as well, and like making sure that I was reaching out to people and hopping on calls so I could even learn more as well.
Right on. Okay, so just what I hear is like skill building, writing ads and copy and listening to training and learning what you need to learn kind of thing. So there's multiple things that you shared in there that are really helpful. What has been actually no, I'm going to ask that one last. There's two left here, and then we're going to wrap up. Did you start building your business with your hot market or through attraction marketing and ads?
So I started building business with ads and attraction marketing. If you look at my personal Facebook page, actually someone recently said they thought that what I do, like I was a scam, because if you look at my personal Facebook page, I look like lame. Like I literally haven't posted on it, and I can't even tell you how long. Like none of our travels, there's not like, I literally don't think there's one picture on mine or Cam's Facebook page for personal pages from any of our trips, because we literally never used Facebook like before. I did not like Facebook before I started this business. Like I never posted anything on it. I still don't post anything on my personal page. So I did not want to do any warm market personally. That's why I wanted to join something like this so I could run ads and attract other people, like outside people, and meet like really awesome people I never would have otherwise. But so for me, it's all been attraction marketing and through Facebook ads.
Right on. Okay, last question, Ashley. You're doing great, and thank you so much for letting us and everyone ask you a million questions. There's been some great feedback in the chat, just saying that they're getting a lot out of it, so thank you very much for that. This question is about your best performing ad, like on your business journey. So what I'd like to hear is, because I think that's what they're asking in the question, is the point where it's the first ad that you opened up Ads Manager and you're like, oh my gosh, am I seeing this right? Like this is really working. So can you take us to that moment?
Yeah, I remember exactly where I was and everything. So, but I think it was a Friday. It was actually in April of 2017. And I just remember I think I had set that ad live like that day or something. And like also you guys like remember all these moments. Like I literally remember exactly where I was when I got my first lead and how I like freaked out about that. I remember who my first buyer was, who my first like actual person I got affiliated was, like everything. So like these definitely like pay attention to all these things because they're awesome to look back on. But I just remember like looking at it. I was I was in the desert in California and just pulled it open and I just could not believe it and was just like freaking out and was like so excited and whatnot. And I feel like I'm not really explaining this moment well, but I just remember exactly where I was and getting like super excited about it and just being like, all right, like this is awesome. This is the ad. It's so cool. But it was so awesome. But then at the same time, I actually kind of freaked out because a few months later, or a month later, I don't even remember what it was. Maybe it's like a few weeks later. I went to scale it. Like I wanted to set up another demographic for the campaign. And I think I set like 2 up and it literally took like 6 hours to get approved. And so I freaked out and I actually did not set up another demographic for for actually like literally that was April till January. I was too nervous to set up another demographic with that ad. So I had only the ones that I had set and then I just scaled one of them like as high as I felt comfortable doing it because I was too nervous. Because it took now obviously we know like it literally takes, right? It could take like a day to get approved. But at that point, like I didn't know that. And so literally it took me like 6 hours to get approved and I was too scared to set up other campaigns. And so I ended up I remember I actually talked to Mel about it when I started an event like that August and ended up writing another ad that I could run instead because I was too nervous.
Okay, like I'm not going to touch that. All right, so tell me some of the numbers. Like what data did you see that translated to the meaning of, oh my gosh, this is real and awesome?
Yeah, I think instantly we had just like really awesome lead costs, like literally like $1 or less, and so that is how that was like the lowest I'd ever had. So I was just like, wow, this is so awesome. Kind of started freaking out at that point, and then just started like talking to a lot more people. So that was good, like really helpful. And then And then, yeah, once I saw like buyers come from it and stuff, that's when, you know, yeah, I was like, okay, like this is legit, like this is awesome, and whatnot. And yeah, and I think just getting feedback from other people as well, like in the community that like had been in it longer than me or had known, and just like their responses to my ad was like really encouraging also.
That's cool. Yeah, jump in there, Sean. Go for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, oh my gosh, guys, if that was fire, write fire in the chat roll. Ash, thank you from the bottom of my heart for you being out here and sharing that. I know, especially the day before you leave for Australia forever. For, I don't know, how long are you going to be gone for? Like 10 months?
Still middle of August.
Till the middle of August. Guys, that's within your reach. I want you to be very clear on this. That all Ashley did was plug in, be resourceful, continue learning, and just stopped at nothing to get the results that she wanted. That was so powerful. I took a whole bunch of notes. We're going to go to the panelists and find out their vote. Make sure and drop your vote in the chat there. But let's go back over to Will and Paige. Who did you choose and why?
So my vote is you, Sean, because to have that ad framework for the newest people coming in, it is so important to have that down, to really know that process. You know, to anyone who I talk to, you know, even on the first coaching call, I'm mentioning these books already because they are so important to what we do, and to have the framework, especially for people coming on who have no idea and who've never done this before. So, Sean, for that reason, I choose you. I don't know who Paige chooses, but
I was going to choose Sean, but I'm actually going to choose Ashley because I thought your story was super inspiring tonight. I think, you know, you're an inspiration for the newest person coming in the door, and I think you're also an inspiration for people like us that have been in the business for a while. And you know, sometimes running your own business has its kind of ups and downs, and when you're having, you know, a bit of a down day, you know, I could look to you and be like, you know, Ashley's got it really going on, and you give me that kind of that motivation to keep moving forward. So thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's go to Jesse, the pick a number panelist. What's up, Jesse?
So, Sean, you were coming up when I was thinking about it, but I think I have to give it to Kristen. I mean, that information she dropped was really informative, and I learned so much through what she said, and definitely going to try the changing conversions to the click links to see if that's going to help boost that. But yeah, I'm voting for Kristen.
Report back. We want to know. Like, we need to all crowdsource this information because we need to all rock it. So report back into the DGL group, please. But you're like really nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Kristen, sorry we didn't get you on the poll in there in time. It was kind of we had to make a audible down at the last very second there. But who did you vote for?
So this was, I was like totally going with Sean. I was like, this is amazing. And Ashley, it was just really what I needed to hear tonight, to be honest with you. I've been struggling a lot, just so everybody knows, like, yeah, I do a ton with Facebook and I've got clients and it's really cool. And like, I really do love Facebook, even though it's like stressing me out. But I really needed what Ashley said tonight because we all get into our own bubble, and I work alone in this house every day. And it can get so hard when things aren't going well. And don't think of like, guys, it's not just this business for me. It's like multiple people's businesses and livelihoods, and it's just me. And so it can get really hard. And hearing your story and like how down, like, and gritty, and you just did everything right, and you really kept going. And so that's what I needed to hear tonight. I thought it was awesome, Ashley. Thank you so much.
That's it. Let's go to Chris Baden, Mr. Co-host, Mr. The Idea Guy.
Yes, my vote. My vote tonight is going to go to Paige. Because that's a really helpful tool. It's intimidating for a lot of people, and it's not necessarily as interesting to watch or learn about, but it's really, really valuable. And so I hope that my vote also inspires people not to overlook it. So thank you, Paige, for walking over all that. Back to you, Sean.
Yeah, my choice also goes to Paige because that was one of her very first times ever presenting on Train or Die, and I'm super grateful. I think she killed the game. So congrats, Paige. I think that's definitely worth it. And just the fact that you covered something that's pretty technical but everybody needs to use is super valuable. So I feel like people are going to be going back watching this episode a ton of times and getting that growth tool set up. Guys, That's one of the most powerful mechanisms you can put in your business to get immediate responses with your people, okay? So, like, just keep that in the back of your mind. Super duper 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 important. And let's go now to the one, the only, Miss Ash. Who'd you vote for?
I vote, also I'm super happy that I can, inspire all you guys. It's awesome for me to hear as well. And I have to vote for Kristen. I thought, that Facebook information was very valuable. Some stuff that I didn't know either with the, testing out the link clicks before conversion and some of that other stuff. And I just love, how she digs in and really finds out all the Facebook stuff and then shares it all with us because we all obviously need to know it. So it's super beneficial. So thanks.
That's it. We have a dead stalemate with the panelist vote, so it's going to the audience. Chris, hit the button. Share those results. Like the Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah! Ashley's in the house. Way to go, girl. That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations. You are this week's Golden Belt champion. Since you're going to be in Australia, you definitely have the ability to come back and defend your title next week. But if you're not traveling, we get it. You just need to let us know. But anyways, guys, that's going to bring our show tonight to almost a close. We're going to let Ashley go ahead and shut it down. Before she does, check this out, guys. Don't miss next week. Here's why. Aaron Ellis is a personal development guru. He's the man. He knows his stuff. He's made millions of dollars on the internet. You are going to want to be here for that Train or Die next week. It's going to be episode number 138. Do not miss that. Guest speaker next week is going to just kill it, just like Ashley did tonight. So Ashley, if you could, the stage is yours. Please share the most impactful words you can give to the audience before we bounce out of here tonight.
So just know that if I can do it, that you can do it as well. And that even like I have super hard days and like question things, but I know like all the potential and the power, that this business has. And so there are going to be ups and downs and whatnot, but know that, if you literally see the compensation plan or you see the power and potential of online and literally where everything is going, like you have literally gold in your hands. And if you're just willing to stick through it and, learn, be resourceful, like better yourself, literally the sky is the limit and you truly can create whatever life that you want. It's only what's in here that's stopping you, like what's between your ears. And then when it's tough, when you're thinking about quitting or not wanting to do anything or whatever, if you can just look to people that have done it or really hold on to the life you want, like truly anything is possible and you can make it happen.
All right, guys. We're going to be back same time, same channel next week. Don't miss it. Train or Die, episode number 138. Coming your way next week. Ashley, congratulations on the belt. We'll see you guys later.